What can I do for you?
What are you doing?
I would like to see your face.
Hey, don't touch my camera. What are you doing, lady?
Can you push it aside so
Don't touch my camera. Name and badge number.
Can I see your
Name
face?
and badge number.
Can I see
Name
your
and
face?
badge number.
Can I see your
Name
face?
and badge number.
Can I see
Name and badge number. That's unacceptable. You don't just come up to a free member of the public and start grabbing their property.
To come in here, you have to have a legitimate business.
And I do have legitimate business.
Okay. Is there a department you need to go speak to?
I have legitimate business, sir. That's all you need to know.
You do not unless you have a...
I have legitimate business, sir. And you want to know what? Just taking pictures is legitimate business. Did you know that? Freedom of the press?
It's still a secure, locked building.
But this is open. If I need to go get public records, it's open to the public,
if you
sir.
need to go get public records,
it's open to the public.
then you
So
can
if
go
it's
get
open to the
public
public,
records.
it's open to the public.
But then you would tell the lady at the front desk that you need to go
And
get...
if I want to come up here
Can
and
I-
do public records request, I can tell that lady that I have business here and that's all she needs to know, and she lets me into a public building that I pay for.
Welcome back, everybody. As many of you guys know, I'm a law enforcement trainer instructor. I train and instruct military and law enforcement all over the country on various law enforcement disciplines to include constitutional law, case law, patrol tactics, use of force, investigations, etc. And here we have it again, man. We have this officers. I don't know if this is a trend. If you're in law enforcement, let me know. I'm unaware of this trend, but is there a new trend of law enforcement on the fly trying to formulate nexuses between what's considered lawful business and what's not considered somebody's business? Please let me know in the comment section below. We saw it in yesterday's video, and again we are seeing it today in this video. And again, I don't understand it, from a jurisprudence perspective here. I just don't understand what this law enforcement officer is planning to do. So let's say you have somebody that's in there, and let's just say he refuses to speak, right? He goes ahead and he's like, you know what, you have somebody that says, I'm going to invoke, my Fifth Amendment. I am not going to speak to you. I'm not going to explain anything to you. Is the idea that this officer is legitimately going to place handcuffs on him and charge him with what? Not conducting business at City Hall? Like, honest question. Like, that's an honest question. Like, is that what this officer's intention is? Because he's asking a question very specific to what is your business, right? And, you don't have to answer that, right? You don't have to tell him, well, this is the business that I plan to conduct at City Hall today. Now, he can certainly ask. He can certainly help. If he was genuinely interested in helping, he absolutely could. But, it's very clear this person's an activist, right? Like, if I was responding to City Hall, if I got that anonymous call of, hey, there's a suspicious person at City Hall, people are concerned, people are nervous, people are scared, he has a camera, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I could go there, and if I go there and I see somebody with a tripod talking into the video camera, it's very clear why they're here. They're an activist, and if they're a good one, they're going to know the Supreme Court case precedents. Take Long Island Audit, right? If I go over there and I see Sean from Long Island Audit, I know exactly what he's there to do. He's there to force feed me Supreme Court case precedents and see if I'm going to violate his constitutional rights that have been fortified and codified in state law, district court precedents, and Supreme Court case precedents. So why, knowing that that's his business, right? Knowing that's what he's going to do, why am I playing these games, right? I don't understand for the life of me. I don't understand why these officers. I don't know why they get themselves in these situations. The lady at the very beginning trying to grab his property, saying, "I need to see your face. I need to see your face." I don't understand that. Would she go up to a Muslim woman that has full face covering, and would she try to do that to a Muslim woman? Honest question, right? We have a right in this country to freedom of speech. We have the right to freedom of assembly. Let's look right there. You can see our First Amendment rights, right? Our First Amendment rights are there. They're clear as day. We have a right to practice the religion that we see fit. We have a right to redress of grievances, right? Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition government for redress of grievances. So again, with this lady, honestly, in all honesty, this first officer, would she, rip the face covering off somebody practicing the religion? Honest question. Based upon what we're seeing here, she thinks it's permissible. But she's going about it, you know? If she's willing to take a camera away from somebody's face because she wants to see their face, why wouldn't she do that with somebody else, right? Obviously, it's not the First Amendment principle here that she cares about. And nor could she articulate anything to the negative on that. So that's the first thing. The First Amendment, your First Amendment protected activity. If you knew the First Amendment, even if you didn't understand case law, right? If you understood common sense, if you're a law enforcement officer, you understood that we had a First Amendment, right? And you were taught it in school, right? I was taught in school. You were taught in school. You know, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right to peacefully assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. I mean, City Hall is a great place to assemble and petition redress of grievances, freedom of speech, right? So the idea as a police officer that I see somebody with a camera peaceably talking to themselves, man, I just can't fathom the idea that I would make that arrest. I can't fathom that, you know. And then, so take the First Amendment out of it, right? Let's say you don't care about the First Amendment because you believe it's an old document. Well, then we have all the other Supreme Court case precedences in which I could lose qualified immunity for, right? 42 U.S.C. 1983 concerns, right? So you guys have heard me talk about the flag burning statute, Texas v. Johnson, 1989. Here it is in front of you. The Supreme Court has held that flag burning constitutes symbolic speech that is protected by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court further held that freedom of speech protects actions that society may find very offensive, but society's outrage alone is not justification for the freedom of speech. With that being said, I am not advocating you go into City Hall and start lighting things on fire. That is not what I'm advocating for. But the Supreme Court has stated that, again, something that society finds outrageous, right? So if you were to find speech outrageous, the fact that you don't like it and the fact that you find it outrageous is not justification enough for suppressing it. So as a police officer, right, if I see somebody who's peacefully talking to themselves, and let's say I found that outrageous, okay, but the Supreme Court has said, hey, somebody can burn a flag. How do I articulate that somebody talking to themselves on a camera is a violation when we have Supreme Court case precedents that clearly establishes flag burning? Again, honest question. The next thing to look at, next thing to think about, Cohen v. California. Here it is on your screen. States must have a better reason than concern for general disturbing the peace when they ban displaying of an expletive in a public space. So this person, from what we can see, was not cursing, was not being obscene in any way, did not have any kind of expletive that they were expressing or showing. They were literally just holding a camera. And again, Supreme Court case precedents, Cohen v. California, say states must have a better reason for the general concern of disturbing the peace when they ban displaying of expletive in public space. He's not even doing that. He's talking to himself in front of a camera. Again, this is wild. And it would be, I could be more understanding if this case law was like freaking brand new, right? Like if it had just came out a year or two ago, I get it. Cops don't keep up with case law at all. I get it. This is boring to them. They have no desire to understand what the latest and greatest is. I think that's a mistake, but hey, it is what it is. I can fault you for it. I won't even attempt to fault you for it. But this is case law that's been ongoing for, I mean, we're talking the 70s now, right? The 70s, right? Like we're talking 50 years this has been on the book, right? Over 50 years this has been on the book. Like, come on, at some point we have to just, hey, you either know it or you don't. You know what I mean? And so, again, I get it if it's a couple years old, but when you're talking about, you know, over half a century old, like, we got to start getting things together here. You know, you guys let's look at another statute, very clear. Detain and ID statute, Brown v. Texas, 1979. Again, the Supreme Court has affirmed that law enforcement needs reasonable articulable suspicion in order to detain and compel someone to identify themselves. So again, I have no idea, for the life of me, I have no idea why these police officers feel like they have to create this imaginary nexus between what they consider business to allow people to record in public spaces. I don't understand it. I don't know where they're getting this from. I don't know if this is a training that people are getting. Please let me know. Please, I mean, if you have any idea if this is something that somebody's training at this point, like I just don't understand. You have two different police departments, not even close to each other, and we're seeing the same trying to connect a nexus, even if, again, and that's my question. Let's say the person said, I am recording because that's my First Amendment right. Is the officer going to make that arrest? Like, why is he even going down that rabbit hole? Like, what's his thought process? Okay, well, that's not business, you have to leave. Okay, no, I'm not leaving. Like, again, what's he planning on doing? What's she planning on doing, right? What is next steps? Is next steps just, oh, you got me, I guess I was bluffing, bye? Or is next steps like, no, really, we're going to put you in handcuffs because we really think you're violating the law by holding a camera? Like, I don't understand. And I don't understand why this business concept of you have to be doing a business that they deem fit for you to be in a public building with a camera. Like, I don't, again, this is something that I'm if you are struggling to understand this as a law-abiding citizen, I am struggling to understand this as a nationally certified law enforcement instructor. So we're both I'm just as confused as you are, because I can't make it fit. I have no idea how you would make this fit. Again, I have no idea where this thought process is coming from. I don't know how you can tell somebody what their business is, not knowing what their business model is, right? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can try to attempt to ban somebody's protected First Amendment activity, and especially with the very beginning of demanding that you get the camera out of your face so I can see your face. Again, that just imagine. I mean, this stuff doesn't happen to me, but, like, you know, and this is horrible to say, but if this lady is willing to, you know, to do that, to go hands on, like, you know, I wonder what would happen if a man or woman was wearing a head covering, religious head covering, and what would she do? I mean, that seemed like the easiest lawsuit to win in the world. I don't understand. I don't understand the logic. So again, if you're a law-abiding citizen and this is making no sense to you, I'm telling you as somebody who's certified, nationally certified to instruct and teach law enforcement, I don't understand it either. We're on the same page. So if you can help me understand this, please let me know in the comment section below. But most importantly, what do you think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, guys, if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. And as always, long live the Republic.